If you're feeling stuck in your current job or some aspect of your life situation, this video should get you feeling hopeful. I'm gonna read a few pages from this book, The Magic of Thinking Big, which was written by David Schwartz. And if you stick around until the end of the video, I'll share a way that you can escape your job or life situation that's bringing you down. But there is someone speaking to the author in the book, and he says, just 5 years ago, I was plodding along, just another guy working in the tool and die trade. I made a decent living by average standards, but it was far from ideal. Our home was much too small, and there was no money for the things that we wanted. My wife, bless her, didn't complain much, but it was written all over her face that she was more resigned to her fate than she was happy. Inside, I grew more and more dissatisfied. When I let myself see that I was failing my good wife and 2 children, I really hurt inside. But today, things are really different. My friend continued, today we have a beautiful home on a 2-acre lot and a year-round cabin a couple 100 miles north of here. There's no more worry about whether we can send the kids to a good college, and my wife no longer feels guilty every time she spends money for some new clothes. Next summer, the whole family's flying to Europe to spend a month's holiday. We're really living. How did it all happen? Well, it all happened because I harnessed the power of belief. 5 years ago, I learned about a job with a tool and die company in Detroit. We were living in Cleveland at the time. I decided to look into it, hoping I could make a little more money. I got here early on a Sunday evening, but the interview wasn't until Monday. Well, after dinner, I sat down in my hotel room, and for some reason, I got really disgusted with myself. Why, I asked myself, am I just a middle-class failure? Why am I trying to get a job that represents such a small step forward? I don't know to this day what prompted me to do it, but I took a sheet of hotel stationery and I wrote down the names of 5 people I've known well for several years who had far surpassed me in job responsibility and earning power. 2 were former neighbors who'd moved away to fine subdivisions. 2 others were fellows I'd worked for, and the 3rd was my brother-in-law. Well, next, again, I don't know what made me do this, but I asked myself, what do my 5 friends have that I don't have, besides better jobs? I compared myself with them on intelligence, but I honestly couldn't see that they excelled in the brains department. Nor could I truthfully say that they'd beat me on education, integrity, or personal habits. Well, finally, I got down to another success quality one hears a lot about: initiative. Here, I hated to admit it, but I had to. On this point, my record showed I was far below my successful friends. Now, it was now about 3 a.m., but my mind was astonishingly clear. I was seeing my weak point for the first time. I discovered that I'd held back. I dug into myself deeper and deeper, and I found the reason I lacked initiative was because I didn't believe inside that I was worth very much. I sat there the rest of the night just reviewing how lack of faith in myself had dominated me ever since I could remember, how I'd used my mind to work against myself. I found I'd been preaching to myself why I couldn't get ahead instead of why I could. I'd been selling myself short. I found this streak of self-deprecation showed through in everything I did. Well, then it dawned on me that no one else was going to believe in me until I believed in myself. Right then, I decided I am through feeling second class. From here on in, I'm not going to sell myself short. So the next morning, I still had confidence. During the job interview, I gave my newfound confidence its first test. Before coming to the interview, I'd hoped that I would have the courage to ask for $750 or maybe even $1,000 more than my present job was paying. But now, after realizing that I was a valuable man, I upped it to $3,500 and I got it. I sold myself because after that one long night of self-analysis, I found things in myself that made me a lot more saleable. Within 2 years after I took the job, I'd established a reputation as a fellow who can get business. Well, then we went into recession. This made me still more valuable because I was one of the best business getters in the industry. The company was reorganized and I was given a substantial amount of stock plus more pay. Believe in yourself and good things do start happening. Your mind is a thought factory. It's a busy factory producing countless thoughts in a day. Production in your thought factory is under the charge of 2 foremen, one of whom we will call Mr. Triumph, and the other we'll call Mr. Defeat. Mr. Triumph is in charge of manufacturing positive thoughts. He specializes in producing reasons why you can, why you are qualified, and why you will. The other foreman, Mr. Defeat, produces negative, deprecating thoughts. He's your expert in developing reasons why you can't, why you're weak, why you're inadequate. His specialty is the why you will fail chain of thoughts. Both Mr. Triumph and Mr. Defeat are intensely obedient. They snap to attention immediately. All you need to do is signal either foreman and give the slightest mental beckon call. If the signal is positive, Mr. Triumph is going to step forward and go to work. Likewise, a negative signal brings Mr. Defeat forward. To see how these two foremen work for you, try this example. Tell yourself, today is a lousy day. This signals Mr. Defeat into action, and he manufactures facts to prove that you're right. He suggests to you that it's too hot or it's too cold. Business is going to be bad today. Sales will drop. Other people will be on edge. You may get sick or your spouse might be in a fussy mood. But tell yourself, today's a fine day, and Mr. Triumph is signaled to act. He tells you this is a wonderful day. The weather is refreshing. It's good to be alive. Today you can catch up on some of your work, and then it is a good day. Mr. Defeat will convince you that you will fail, while Mr. Triumph will demonstrate why you will succeed. Now, the more work you give either of these two foremen, the stronger he becomes. If Mr. Defeat is given more work to do, he adds personnel, and he takes up more space in your mind. Eventually, he'll take over the entire thought manufacturing division, and virtually all thought will be of negative nature. The only wise thing to do is to fire Mr. Defeat. You don't need him. You don't want him around telling you that you can't, that you're not up to it, that you'll fail, and so on. Mr. Defeat won't help you get where you want to go, so boot him out. Use Mr. Triumph 100% of the time. When any thought enters your mind, ask Mr. Triumph to go to work for you. He'll show you how you can succeed. Walk in. The door to success is open wider than ever before. Put yourself on record right now that you're going to join that select group of people who are getting what they want out of life. And if you haven't signed up to receive the 7-day video series that will show you how to break free from your current job situation, you can click the link below to sign up, and I'll check in with you. And man, I wish you luck. I wish you luck. Focus not on Mr. Defeat, but on Mr. Triumph. You can. And all it takes is a little bit of initiative to break free from the situation that's dragging you down. And I'm here to help you. So click the link below to register for the video series, and have an amazing day. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.